over.
Pray it up. Holy Spirit's already in the room.
Holy Spirit. There's like a movement of like punk rock Christian music. At least it's on my feed for some reason.
Yeah, not mine.
Yeah. Which I don't really like punk rock. Like the Blink-182.
I feel like you do.
I don't. I really don't. It's boring to me.
Not like the Creed and the...
Never. There's a couple Creed songs. That's not really punk rock, though.
Three Doors Down.
Three Doors Down's bordering. I don't really like Three Doors Down, though. I would put Creed and Nickelback in the same kind of like modern metal.
Yeah.
Like if hair bands were still a thing, they would be Nickelback and
Punk
Creed.
rock like Green Day.
Yeah, I actually do like Green Day.
Yeah.
But I don't like Blink-182. I don't like Bowling for Soup. I don't like those bands. But there's like these couple of Christian like punk bands that have popped up, and they're like on my algorithm now, and I'm like, stop it. They're like doing worship songs, but they're whining. I'm like, they're already whiny enough. I didn't need you adding to that.
Am I still on the shop? I backed up a little bit.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I don't know why she's on my. One of them's a girl. I don't know why she keeps popping up on my feed. She's not. I mean, for that type of music, she's pretty good, but not my thing. Not my favorite. Spotify Rap came out.
Spotify Rap. I don't know what that is.
Apple Music Rap year in review, where they put out the songs.
Yes. Okay, I got you.
Did you have any music on yours at all?
I don't. So the problem with me is I know what you're talking about because I heard other podcasts talk about it, but I do Amazon Music, so I don't do Spotify.
The heck? How old are you?
Amazon Music, it's free. So you pay for yours, right?
Yeah.
So Amazon Music comes with Amazon Prime. That's why I listen to it.
Well, I don't have Amazon Prime.
Yeah. So it's free for me.
That's interesting. Do they not do a rap?
They don't. They usually do it around now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Everybody else's came out. YouTube's came out this week.
Maybe I have to check.
YouTube has one for the first time this year.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting to see all the YouTube channels you watched over the last year and how much you watched.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, mine was like Red Bull TV, comedians, and like those stupid like YouTube game shows.
Did you watch the one? It's off topic here, but the one where they went down the mountain, skied down the mountain up Everest. He climbed the top of Everest and he skied down the Red Bull one. That was sick.
Was that Cho?
No.
Like something Cho?
Never been done. Dude, just like he climbed to the top, strapped his skis on, and just skied down.
Was the Asian guy?
He had a helmet on. I don't know.
So there's an old story, and I don't know
this happened like very recently.
Yeah, and they said it was the first time anyone had ever done it.
Yeah.
There's an old story. So the photographer who shot Alex Honnold free soloing like the whole movie and everything.
Yeah, the El Chapo or the El Capo.
El Cap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the photographer is an Asian guy. I forget his name. I don't want to try to guess his name again. That sounds a little weird. But he told a story on a show one time about skiing off of the top of Everest. But this has been like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe longer.
He went all the way to the top, though.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe they hiked back down some and then he skied at some point because it's like crazy to even think to do that. But that was like part of the story because they were, even though he does photography for these crazy events, he's still there. So like, Alex is clearly free soloing, but he is hanging on the side of El Cap taking pictures of him. Or they climb Everest. He's clearly on top of Everest too because he's taking the pictures. So they were kind of exploring like his adventure side because he's in all these situations with these guys. Even though they're the athlete, he's still this insane action sports athlete, adventure athlete because he's having to do all these things with a camera in his hand. Which I was like, that's kind of cool. But he told a story. I swear I heard him tell it where he skied off of Everest. But I don't know. Maybe I was wrong because they sure said on the thumbnail at least first time ever.
First time, yeah. That's why I was like, man, I got to watch this. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of Red Bull videos last night.
All year in review ones.
Nah, I was watching, just catching up on like mountain bike stuff I hadn't watched in a while. But hey, on today's show, we are talking about, is there evidence that Daniel in the book of Daniel actually wasn't as consistent as we think and that he may have lost his way?
We're also going to talk about the 5 things that we're grateful for.
5 things we're thankful for.
2025.
And we start today with this. The Christmas season is upon us. The Christmas season is upon us. And in the Christian world, this brings about many a question.
Why are you talking like that?
Should we have Christmas trees? Should we allow the Christmas holiday to infiltrate the church? And simply this: is Santa Claus evil? Is Santa evil? That's where we start today.
That's good.
Deep theological conversations this morning. Is Santa Claus a demon? No, I'm just kidding. Is he evil?
Is evil.
What do you think?
So so it's kind of funny. I've had this conversation. I have a couple guys at my work who are Christian men. We do a Bible study together. They always talk about. I feel like they always try to ream me for celebrating Halloween because I think there's no way you can get around Halloween being like. There's a lot of demonic and things that you shouldn't probably participate when you're doing Halloween. I know for us, it's about the candy.
I can pull the history of that one too.
I know, but it's like they always trying to come at me for like, how'd you celebrate Thanksgiving or how'd you celebrate Halloween? I'm like, bro, the kids just trick or treated. We just got candy.
Yeah.
We didn't even decorate our house for anything. Yeah. Like we have one blow up in our yard is a pumpkin. But anyway, I guess we do have like a witch too.
Yeah, you're over there summoning portals at the Phillips house.
Oh Lord. But so I don't know. When you get on the topics of like, should we celebrate certain? I know that God cares about it because there's like, and you read in the Old Testament, there's so many like celebrate this festival for this, celebrate this festival. So like they mean something, and like, should you participate in it? It's a good question. But I forgot what I was going with.
Is Santa evil?
Is Santa evil? I would say himself. I don't know, but I think it's always the aspect of like where your heart is at when you're celebrating these things. My heart, like, I'm never going to go to the store and buy a Ouija board during Halloween. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to mess with any sort of demons or any sort of like witchcraft or any of that kind of stuff. So I think it's always like where your heart's at. And I think Christmas is always a net positive for us. And we're going to church on Christmas. We're talking about Jesus's birth. Reading the story of Jesus's birth. So I think it's not leaned towards the Christmas and the Santa. It's more leaned towards the Jesus in our house. Try to be at least.
Yeah. So I did pull, because we are the brokers of information.
100%.
I did pull from Wes Huff, who Bible historian, the history of Santa Claus.
Let's get it.
So Santa Claus can only be traced back to Dutch immigrants in New York in the early 1800s. He came from the Dutch Sinterklaas, also known as St. Nicholas. His feast day was on 12/6 and was moved to 12/25 around the time to help make Christmas a family holiday. Newspapers promoted and encouraged to give gifts on Christmas instead of New Year's, like it traditionally was before this. Sinterklaas was rebranded from a Catholic priest to look like a traditional Dutchman from that time period, which included a big red suit. After this, Santa was exported around the world to different countries, added new spins. Stockings were also promoted around this time and traced back to Clement C. Moore's A Visit from St. Nicholas in 1927 in Finland. A radio broadcaster, Marcus Rauschio, morphed the old pagan holiday deity Julupuki into a Santa figure. Santa changed the Julupi figure, not the other way around. So the historical Santa is not founded in any pagan tradition. In fact, it was the opposite. They adjusted the pagan tradition to match the Santa Claus character.
Like kind of Catholic roots as well there.
Yeah, some Dutch, European, sounds like some Catholic roots. So, no.
Thanks, spoiler alert.
Santa is not evil. Yeah. Like you mentioned, it's like, should we refrain from including Santa in our family gatherings or events and stuff? Probably not. I don't think that that's a big issue. But for men, for us as men, I think it's important for us to lead in the right direction, to not get so wrapped up in the trappings of Santa and the presents and the elves and all that. Those things are fun. The old movies are fun for kids to watch. I find them atrociously boring.
Oh, we watch every one of them every year.
Yeah, we watch Harry Potter because we're
witchcraft. I feel like they do say there's like a Christmas theme, and like because they go home for Christmas in those movies.
Yeah, they have Christmas.
That's why they say they're Christmas movies. Yeah, I get that.
They also are Thanksgiving movies because they have the big meal and the feast, even though they're British, or they have some kind of feast that works out. Anyway, so that's what we do at our house. So judge all you want. I don't really care. But redirecting our family towards Jesus and keeping the reason for the season, quote unquote, top of mind, I think, is really the important piece. I don't think we really get wrapped up in this. Is Christmas demonic or is Santa evil? Can we have Christmas trees? Like, all that stuff's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I think go ahead, do it. With the caveat I say to that is, like, I think there's some years as I was growing up, like, if you only focus on those type of things, it's a very shallow and it's a very not as fun holidays. Like, if you're just worried about like the gift portion of it or the stockings and all the Santa Claus stuff, like, you can go a whole season and get to the end of it after you open your presents, you're like, well, now what? And then it's like, it was for naught. Yeah. But if you go about it where you're like, I'm going to go to the Christmas service, I'm going to celebrate Jesus' birthday, I'm going to celebrate, him coming to the earth. That's that. After you get done with that part of the season, you're like, I celebrated Jesus' birthday. That was something worthwhile. It actually meant something, as in the go about it trying to celebrate, the presents in Santa. It's going to be a hollow, shallow, and it's going to be fleeting as soon as that Christmas, you open the presents, you're like, we ate. We're like, well, now what? That's over.
And for all the Jesus wasn't born in December people out there, because I know you just heard Luke say that, and now you're thinking about it. Try celebrating Christmas in the middle of the summer.
It's 4th of July, baby.
Try doing that, and let's see if we reach as many people with the gospel as we will on Christmas in December. Yeah. So give that a shot. Yeah, we get all you want.
Yeah, we know he was born in the summertime. But yeah, we get it.
But who cares? Not worried about it.
Yeah, we still celebrate it. So
we celebrate it this time of year.
Well, there's a lot of people, like, if you think about it, a lot of people who are, I know there's like a couple of, that was weird, but there's older people that I know, they're like, they didn't write things down when I was born. Like, you had your kid at home. There was no, like, we think it's on this day, but it could have been anywhere between this span of 3 days. They're like, I think I was born this day. They're like, no, Grandma, you were born a week before that. So, like, you don't always celebrate on the exact same day that people are born. So
my brother, they put the date he left the hospital on his birth certificate, instead of his
brutal
actual date of birth.
I don't know.
And so he, like, all of his government documents have his date he left the hospital.
That's wild.
And so, like, growing up when he would play sports and stuff, it was like really hard for him to get into like teams and things because he couldn't like nail down his birthday. And he was a big kid, like, matured faster than other kids. So he was always a big kid. They're like, no, there's no way that kid's actually like the age they says he is.
How long was he in the hospital?
Like 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 20 to 23rd. But yeah.
That's crazy. I've never heard that, like, in modern times happen before.
Yeah.
Though.
So that's how his driver's license, everything has the wrong date on it.
What date is he celebrating on?
The actual day.
That's crazy.
But yeah, all his documents are like.
That's crazy. I feel like you go back and, like, I guess you can't change it. It's like, that's a birth certificate.
I don't know.
You can't alter that.
But you can, but I don't know if, like, they noticed it until.
Oh, he's a little, like
till he needed it for something. Until he, like, needed
your mom pulls it up on his, like, kindergarten. And she's like, oh, that's not the day.
The first time I remember it even coming up was like his first year playing sports. And like them going to sign him up for football or something, and then they're like, this doesn't match. Like, whatever they matched it against or whatever, it didn't match up.
You gotta get your shot records and everything. They pull everything from like your day you were born.
Yeah.
They make your doctor's appointments based off the day you were born.
And it could have just been as simple as they put his actual birth date on the registration, and then, but anyway, has nothing to do with anything.
That is wild.
But yeah, it's a real thing. So I'm not comment, do all you want. I don't really care.
We get it.
But we're gonna celebrate it in 3 weeks here at that church. We're gonna have a good time.
After this comes out, it'll probably be like a week.
Yeah,
weeks.
That's true.
Yeah.
So whatever, Christmas is coming. But with that, I am Zach. I'm one of the pastors here at that church. This is Luke. You're joining us in the middle of our first podcast in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a while. We had Pointman. We've had a bunch of stuff going on. And so we haven't really had a great chance to sit down and to dive back into God's word with you. But the point of this whole podcast is to help you be the men God desires for you to be and connect you to his word. And so we hope we do that faithfully this morning, and that you will like and subscribe and hang out with us as we go on into 2026 and beyond, as we continue with Pointman and the Pointman Podcast over that time span.
100%.
So we are now going to dive into a different holiday completely. Hard change. There's not a good transition there. We just finished Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So I wanted us to count down the 5 things from this year that we are most thankful for.
Okay.
I'll let you start.
Yeah. Before we do our 5 things, I know we're going to get into that, but what are your thoughts on, I've heard a lot of people talk trash about it, a lot, of Thanksgiving food.
I hate Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, so I've heard that a lot lately. I don't know why. It's only this year that I've heard people actually say that they don't enjoy Thanksgiving food. I've heard it's like a hot take. People are like, if you love it so much, how come you don't deep fry turkey at any other point?
Also a great point.
In the year. And you're like, well, that makes sense. Like, you would never, people were like, well, what's the whole point of Thanksgiving? It's to be thankful. But it's also like, oh, for the food. And you're like, why don't you make that food any other time? You're like, I thought about that. Nobody's trying to just eat a bunch of, if you don't deep fry, if you try to oven bake a turkey, Lord forbid, it's the driest piece of meat you could possibly buy anywhere. So.
I think it's just, one, it's you would eat it more frequently if it was actually that good.
Yeah.
I think probably it's more of a culture shift than anything where like grandma's not here anymore. So she's not the one cooking the food. She always did it. The next generation wasn't really interested in learning like the intricacies of how to cook things like that. And so like the art of it's probably going away. Me and Montana were talking about that the other day. Like there's going to be a point where like holiday meals in our family are just gone because none of us cook really. We cook like burger, steak, fried chicken.
Yeah, well, the cooking portion of it, but still, you still eat together, no matter what's.
Yeah, we'll still eat. We eat
together.
Like we eat Mexican food. That's what we do for Thanksgiving with my family, or with my mom's side of the family, my dad, and then we do traditional.
Which I think it goes to the point is like you're not doing it for the food because you're making whatever food you want. It's about the family.
Yeah,
time.
we still get together and hang out and talk, play games, do all that. But no, we don't. I think the food piece is probably more cultural, just losing generations that knew how to cook that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my dad deep fries a turkey. That's the best part of eating because it's delicious no matter how you slice a deep fried turkey. It's deep fried. So, I mean,
it's going to at least have some crust that tastes good on it.
A little skin, a little crispy. But I was thoughts on that. But I was thinking about what I was the most thankful. Are we going like just 5 or are we going top down? Or
let's go 5 to 1. 1 being the thing you're the most thankful for.
Oh, 1 being okay.
In 2025, only 2025.
Okay, I didn't write the list down, but I just have a. Let's go best of.
No.
Well, then I got to remember like what is that? What am I?
Well, I mean, if you know number 1, the rest of them weren't number 1.
Okay, I see. I got you. Okay, I would say my health. Number 1. I feel like right now it's like. You don't realize how grateful you are for your health and your family's health until something happens.
Yeah.
If you're not thankful for it, you're like, I think it's the whole adjective or the whole additive where like people are like, man, I didn't realize how good breathing out of your nose was until you get a cold and you can't breathe out of your nose anymore. Yeah. So I just like, I know there's seasons like, I know we're getting older. Like there's seasons where you're like, you tweak something and it hurts for a long time afterwards. You try to go be an athlete somewhere and you tweak it. You're like, dang, my back, dude. My back
getting old.
It's back. Yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago. We went to go hang Christmas lights on my brother's house and my back, I had just done some like pulls or whatever the day before. I was doing some like heavy pulls. My back tweaked and I'm like, man, life is so much better when you have a healthy lower back. Yeah. So I'm like, right now at this very moment, I'm healthy and my family's healthy. So it's grateful, very grateful for that.
Yeah, I'd probably say health too. Same type of thing. Just being around so many people who are sick and who are going through stuff and just being thankful that for me and my family that we're all seem to be kicking pretty good right now.
100%. Yeah. 4?
Yeah.
Going 4. I would say I have, I guess it's twofold at the moment. I know we're not rich. Not ever going to have, probably never going to be rich, but we have a good steady income at the moment right now with my job and good low cost of living. We got our house at a pretty cheap rate at the moment. So I'm grateful for that. We're not super struggling financially right now at the moment. So I think that's something to be grateful for. And a lot of people out there like lost their job or struggling to find a job or that type of stuff. So I'm very grateful that I have a steady income coming in. I know God's blessed me with that.
Sure. Yeah. My number 4 was, I'm thankful for the adventures I got to have this year. I got to go some cool places. I got to see some cool things. I got to try some new stuff that I wouldn't have tried probably otherwise. And so just thankful for the opportunity to get to travel and to be in some weird spots a lot of people don't even think about going.
Like where you're going tonight?
Well, that one's not really weird. I'll be there with 30,000 other people, but going to like being out in the mountains, seeing parts of the country that are kind of remote and weird to get to, like northern Montana, not somewhere I thought I'd ever probably visit, but got to go this year. Colorado. and places like that. So.
You got to tell people where you're going tonight now because there's a loop. They got it close.
Yeah. I'm thankful for the Thunder.
It's going to OKC.
Going to OKC this evening. The 21 and 22 and 1, I think 21 or 22 and 1 Oklahoma City Thunder, reigning champs.
Yeah, champs. Yeah, it's awesome.
We're going back to back.
Is that your next thing you're thankful for?
Thankful for? No.
All right, you got to go 3, and then I'll go 3.
Number 3.
Yep.
Number 3.
Did you write it? Did you write it down?
No, I didn't.
Okay. we could be back and be like, dang, I should. I'm not thankful for my kids.
My wife's going to be like, not thankful for the family.
Didn't get brought up.
No, I'm thankful for opportunities. I took a big swing in 2024. It's worked out, I feel. And I'm thankful for just opportunities that I've had over the last year to grow and to learn and to sit under some really smart and bright people and kind of start to own different aspects of my calling and opportunities that God has given me. So I am thankful for that, just for the opportunity to get to do this and to do other stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I would say number 3 for me. I feel like I'm getting down to the wire here. Like, you got to start putting in some.
Can we just cliche lock in number 1 as I'm thankful for God and all that He does in my life?
Yeah, it's like S tier, like 0 tier.
Yeah, there's like that can't be.
Because I was going to go there. I mean, of course you got to go there.
Yeah,
it's like your salvation. You were created.
Yeah, every year that's number 1.
Yeah, your relationship with Jesus.
Yeah,
0 tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
S-tier.
Okay, that makes it a little bit S tier. Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier now that that's. I guaranteed locked in number 0.
So now we can lock in number 1 as family.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. JC and the kids. Yeah. Oh, okay. We're at number 3.
You're still at 3.
Yeah. You did 3.
We got to speed this up.
Yeah. All right. Number 3. I'm going to say can I say extended family?
Sure.
Okay. Because I'll just say extended family. I have a really big, helpful, awesome.
Yeah.
Not only just my close family, but I have relatives, like wife's in-laws are great. That's not a brownie points. I don't think they even listen to this. Man, Dwayne might be listening to this. Shout out Dwayne, my father-in-law. But this extended family, I'm actually super grateful. I know a lot of people out there, they marry into a family. They're like, dude, I'm not ready to, because it's the one of the podcasts I listen to where they're talking about Thanksgiving. They're like, I just don't want to go hang out with my extended family. Yeah. So I'm grateful for my relatives that are close, and then also ones that are a little bit more spread out. Number 3.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is genuinely our group of men. The guys that are in our battle plan groups, that are in our community groups and Bible studies and come to Pointman. I learn and grow from all of you guys all the time. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help other men learn and grow. But I mean, whenever I think about like my friends and my people that I would call brothers and friends and community, it's you guys. And so I'm definitely thankful for them.
Yeah.
For you all.
That's good. That's number
2.
Number 2, you're going bros.
Bros is number 2.
Bros.
I'm always going to be people above everything else.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's God, people, experiences. And then like material things.
It's easier to count that way though. We're going reverse.
We're going the hard way. Yeah, you're really gonna have to know your top 3. But honestly, I think that's in my life. That's what I try to manage and to think through. It's like if I can have an experience, that's awesome. But if I don't get to experience it with people, it's less awesome.
Oh, 100%.
So people have to come first.
That was pretty good. Number 2, I would say, like that church and just be able to be a part of a community of believers. I think number 2 for sure. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll lump the church in too. I just said Pointman, but that's that church.
Yeah, that church Pointman. Yeah, I think we got the same number 2 there.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna have the same.
And then number 1's family.
Family.
Love my family.
Yeah.
Love my. Even though my sons give me heck, sometimes I love them.
Yeah, I always tell people like I've been married almost 10 years now, 3 kids. Having kids, it's a pendulum of the best moments of your life, the most stressful moments of your life, and it just swings back and forth. Like, man, this is the most awesomest thing, best thing you could probably ever do, and then it swings back a minute later, and you're like, this is the most stressful thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life. But
I think if you own your position as dad, I talked about it on Sunday. I love my kids. I love being a dad. I find great joy in being a dad all the time. I'm happy when my kids give me a hug or we do something fun together or they make a cool decision. I'm not so happy with them whenever they're idiots, and they are going to be idiots. So you have to find the joy in the position if you're going to suffer through the hard times and the ridiculous sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, I gave all my kids a bath the other night. It's awesome to to be able to be there for them, take care of them. All of a sudden, as soon as my daughter gets out of the bath, she has a sucker and she just sticks it right in her hair.
Yeah.
It's just as much as I'm like, dang it,
Get back in.
Yeah, I was like, well, what is the point of just taking a bath?
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's good times.
So that is our 25 thankful list. I know you all cared so much for that, but now you know a little bit more about where our heads are at going into this. But so we're getting down to the question, the question of the day of, was Daniel consistent? There's an interesting statement made in Daniel chapter 4. It is in verse 19. It says, "Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was dismayed for a while, and his thoughts alarmed him. The king answered and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation alarm you. Belteshazzar answered and said, Lord, may the dream be for those who hate you, and its interpretation for your enemies." So throughout the narrative of Daniel, the narrative is that first 6 chapters of the book of Daniel, we see a thing happen where everybody else is named by their Babylonian names. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that's what you know them by. Their names are actually Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. We just see the narrative continue to call them by the names given to him as slaves. Daniel is not that way, though. The king will reference to him as Belteshazzar. The people reference him as Belteshazzar. But he always, in his writing of the narrative, will rename himself Daniel. In this moment, though, at the end of verse 19, where it says, Belteshazzar answered and said, my Lord, he owns the Babylonian name for some reason. Is this a lack of consistency in his faith? What's actually at play here? I'll let you go because I actually know the answer.
Oh, well, I was just going to kind of reference the reason one of the reasons we need to talk about this today is because I feel like we have a consistently inconsistent group of men. I don't know, not group of men. I'm not trying to call our guys out, but I was just talking about like
in culture. In
culture, yes, that's exactly what I'm going with. Where people will say they're one way and not be consistent when they're around other group of people.
Well, we have the cultural Christianity word that gets thrown around a lot. And I think we live in the South. South is culturally Christian. What's appropriate speech, what is appropriate action, like all these things are culturally Christian by measure. But you go anywhere else in the country, really, this isn't the case. Like, I'll use Colorado, for instance. Colorado is if there's a polar opposite to the South, it's Denver. And like, a foul word is not a foul word. It's a type of conversational speech. Alcohol, consumption of alcohol is not even questioned, let alone it's everywhere. It's just a part of life there. You go to breakfast, there's a drink. You go to lunch, there's drinks. You go to dinner, there's drinks. You go after dinner, there's more drinks. Like the culture there is very different than it is here. But we have this cultural Christianity here in the South in particular, where we want to say we're Christian because the vast majority of people are, when in reality our actions don't back up a faith. They just kind of fit a norm, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got a funny story about that real quick. About us as a family went to Colorado on vacation a few years back, and I feel like the culture in Colorado is also very fit, working out. You don't see a lot of plump.
Everybody has a bike rack,
yes,
or a kayak rack, or something on their car. Yeah.
Us, we're not the most in shape athletic family out there. So we show up, we go to a restaurant or something. They're like, "You guys from out of town?"
Well, you went
how do you know?
You actually went. Y'all went to Colorado Springs, right?
That was the second time. That was the first time we went to Durango.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all went to parts of Colorado that more mimic the South, even though like the fitness aspect, it's different there.
Every time there's somebody running on every single you drive, and everybody's running, everybody's biking, everybody's walking everywhere, and it's just like it was in July, so everybody's out and about.
But the culture of like life, there's more churches in those parts of Colorado. There's more Christians. There's more of like Colorado Springs, weed's illegal. for recreational use, even though it's legal everywhere else in the state pretty much. There's some things there in those parts that are a little more. When you go to like Denver, Boulder, it's a completely different world, even though it's 3 hours away. Completely different beast. It doesn't look anything. Culture feels nothing like it does here. It's a completely different monster.
Yeah. But what I was kind of going back to is like, yeah, we stood out like a sore thumb. But anyway, so what I was talking about was like, man, I just wish there was a way that we could convince a man to be like, that's not who you are. And I feel like I want to be able to just tell a guy like, that's not who we are. That's not what you're about. And it just kind of like breaks your heart when you see it happen to where you're like, man, I know this guy's a Christian, but as soon as he gets around somebody else or he's in a different scenario and he's not outside of like the church scene or outside of family or whatever, and then they get kind of complacent and they just kind of be like a chameleon and just blend in with whatever environment they're on. So I don't know how we can convey that, but maybe Daniel can give us a kind of some insight on that.
Daniel, maybe, but David, I think, can give us kind of the story of Solomon, can give us an insight on like engaging with what's around us. So God's design for his people was that God is their leader. He established the judges who would adjudicate and would keep things in line, and they would become kings essentially. They never took this title, but they would become kings in wartime. So whenever they would go to battle, somebody had to lead them. The judges would lead them. But what happens was not the judges, rather the priest. Priest. But what would happen is over time, the priesthood dies. They fall into sin. There is not a lineage that can continue the priesthood. And so Solomon is brought onto the scene as kind of the judge over the land, or is the judge over the land. And the people want a king to mimic and match what the surrounding nations have. So God appoints Solomon to find the king. He has a fun, cool Jewish nickname as the Kingmaker because he does it twice. And so he appoints Saul to become the king over the people of Israel, first king of Israel. What happens, though, is God warns the people of Israel. He says, you do not want this. You do not need a king. I know everybody around you has it, but you have a leader. I am your leader. I speak through these people who are leading you. Look, this is working. Like, you don't need to look like everybody else, be like everybody else. And actually in 1 Samuel 8, verse 17 through 18, it says, he will take the 10th of your flocks and you shall be his slaves. And in that day you will cry out because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves, but the Lord will not answer you in that day. I think that's a really stark, you do not need to engage culture and allow culture to dictate your decisions. And for men, we get in these like locker room scenarios, military scenarios where we allow those cultures. Like when we say culture, a lot of times we think about like pop culture, but every like group of people, when they get together, they create a culture of some kind. It could be a good, positive, we're going to help the world culture. It could be evil, vile, we're going to be degenerate culture. But there's a culture that's established inside of a group of people, no matter what. When guys get together like that, though, we lose our kingdom culture, to use a churchy kind of term, and we start to forsake it for the culture that's near us. That's what's happening here to the Israelite people. They want to forsake the culture that's been established and turn to the culture of the communities and the peoples around them. And because of that, God gives them a warning. This is going to cause you pain. This is not going to be a good thing. You don't need a ruler and someone who is the lording over your life. I'm that for you. But they don't listen. And what happens? Saul comes in, they go to battle, they have all these issues. Saul is taken, his position is taken away by God. David is put into the kingship. David is a great king, leads for a long time, does a great job, has his own moral failure. Someone dies, a baby dies. Like, all these things happen because they turned from looking to God for direction to a king for direction, and that king is going to fail them every time. When we look to man's culture, that's going to fail us every time. Culture changes all the time. I mean, sneakers just popped in my head. Like, there was a 5-year run where like sneakers were dumb expensive. Like if you didn't buy them and Nike dropped them, you were paying $1,000 for shoes. Like it was just a ridiculous thing that went through for a period. I saw a video the other day of a sneaker reseller, and he has an entire warehouse of sneakers, and they're all on sale for under what they retailed originally because nobody cares anymore. The culture shifted, the style shifted. And that's a simple thing, but that happens with the big things in culture too. I mean, look at politics. We went from, it changes like every 4 to 8 years. You know, we go from this kind of hard right to hard left. Very rarely do we meet in the middle on anything. And that swing, it's like the ride at the fair, the boat, where it goes back and forth and it just gets higher and higher and higher until you almost feel like you're going to flip over. That's kind of the pop culture or the world we live in, where like we start these small baby swings. Like, yeah, we disagree on a couple things. Then we get bigger. We disagree on some bigger things. And then we go, like now we can't even talk to each other because we're so far apart. But that happens. And so we have to be, if we're going to maintain our faith in all aspects of our life, we have to derive our culture from the Bible and God's word. We can't look to the people around us.
Yeah, it's just tough because there's like one of the things I mentioned earlier was like when you comment on somebody's supposed to be like, "Oh, I'm praying for you." Like, dude, I've never heard you pray in my entire life. Like, hey, you're just posting that on there. It's just I just want us to be. I know there's definitely times in my life where I look back and like I told people that I was a Christian and I went to church and I was not living that way. So I know it's like at a certain point though, you have to draw a line in the sand. There's got to be a line where you say, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to be consistent no matter where I'm at. When you go to work and you ask somebody else, like a coworker, you're like, how does this guy act when he's at work versus when he's somewhere else? And I just want us to be more consistent, and let's stop being different when you're just around somebody else that's like, I know it's eating at me lately, and like, man, I just wish I could punch somebody in the head, not bump them in the head and be like, bro, what are you doing? What's happening?
Well, I mean,
going on, man?
1 John 1:4-6 says, whoever says, I know him, but whoever say, I know him, but do not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoever keeps his word, in him truly the love of God is perfected. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way that he walked. So I think that's a warning shot for believers, that you can't just confess a faith and expect that everything's cool. I can do whatever I want, that I got a get out of jail free card. And I think that's a dangerous thing that we get into as believers, where we're like, yeah, I'm saved, so I'm good. It's like, no, whoever says they know him, salvation, but do not keep commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. You do not know him. That's why, what does it say? Where, for I did not know you, you prophesied in my name.
You
did great miracles.
Cast out demons in my name. He's like, get away from me, you doers of iniquity. I never knew you.
I never knew you. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I think that's what we fall into a lot of times. We experience a moment, God has moved in our life, and then we take it for granted, the moment and the movement, and we don't have the action that follows after. To say, when we go back to this Daniel passage that kind of sparked this conversation, Daniel didn't lose his consistency. Daniel was he wouldn't even eat of the king's table because he had resolved himself not to defile himself. His friends refused to worship the idol because that would be false worship and they would turn their back on God. The 2 chapters later, his faith is made illegal. Daniel's faith is made illegal, and because of what King Solomon had told him to do previously, to pray to Jerusalem out the window boldly, he does so, even though that faith and that prayer is now illegal. There's no evidence that he lost his way. In fact, I actually know the answer for why this is worded this way. It's because the perspective shift. The king is actually the perspective here. It's not Daniel. And that's why it says Belteshazzar. I think another reason for this is also he has pity for the king. It's not every time we see the shift back, it's because he's honoring God. Daniel's name means God is my judge. So when we see the position shift and he has this like pity, this human moment for the king, he doesn't really want the king to go through pain. he's like, oh, please let this be for somebody else. But he didn't lose his way. It's not like his identity. He hasn't taken on the identity of the Babylonians. There's practical reasons why we find this here. But yeah, consistency amongst men.
Yeah, that's good. Daniel got caught praying in his house.
Chapter 6.
They saw him praying in his house. Like, man was consistent. And I just pray that over all the men. Yeah. Yeah. They were like, well, I know he's doing what I know he is who he is, because even in his own house, when he doesn't think anybody's looking, they can see him praying, and he's being a consistent man of God.
Yeah. In Daniel chapter 6, the same chapter where he gets caught.
It's kind of funny. You get caught praying.
Yeah.
Boy, he got caught praying. They're like, yeah, he's going to have to, he's going to get killed because he's been praying, and we made a decree not to pray. We told everybody, don't pray to anyone else but to God. And he went up to his room like he does. They said every day that he does.
Yeah. Chapter 6 of Daniel, verse 16, it says, then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. The king declared to Daniel, may your God, whom you serve, continually deliver you. This wasn't like a faith that, like, yeah, I go to church. It's like, oh, you better pray to your God. No, it's like that God I know that you're constantly in connection with, that you live your life based off of his commandments to you and your people. Like that God, the one that you're constant with, that's the one. Pray to him, because I know you do so continually. You have this faith that is continuous and that is not wavering based on the situation. It actually says that something similar again.
I want to say that was in, I don't remember what chapter that is. The
6.
Okay.
Serve and living God. Yeah. At the break of day, the king rose and went in haste to the den of lions. As he came near the den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish. The king declared to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? So twice it's noted that he has a continuous faith. And when we look at why he got caught in the first place, because the other leaders of Persia, actually, at that point, had tried to find other fault. They had tried to find where he cooked the books, or he'd taken from the king, or whatever that he had done, that they could catch him and take it to the king to have him removed from his position. They can find no fault in him. So they went to the thing that derived his honesty, his trustworthiness, which was his faith, because they knew he was going to be continuous in that, and that he was going to be consistent in that. I think I would love to be a man that, like, if I was taken before the king, and that statement would be made about my life. The God whom you serve continually, with consistency, with vigor, with, I would hope that that's the response. Yeah. That it's not like, do you have a God? Like that would be heartbreaking if someone was to ask you.
It's like, well, you weren't that way last week.
Yeah. It's like, whom do you worship? Because, like, if your actions in your life do not exemplify the lessons, we were actually just talking about it with a group about, like, someone had a fear of broaching the subject of salvation with someone, and they felt like that was what was holding them back. But they were discounting the fact that they live a life of faith too. Like, should they ask and should they have those conversations? Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but our actions and our words, they carry a lot of weight with the people around us.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I know where you might feel called out on this episode or whatever, but I feel like today is the day. Just draw that line in the sand. If you're feeling like, man, they're calling me out right now, like, good. Yeah. I want you to feel called out, but let's just start today. Today is the guy where I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to go to work today, or go to work whenever I go to work, and I'm going to be the same guy that I am on Sundays. I'm going to be at home, that I'm hanging out with whatever friends I have. Distance yourself from those friends if you need to, whatever you need to do. But let's make that change today. Let's be a consistent man. Let's start today. And if you feel called out, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. I'd have told you in person. So
I do it on a podcast. But I don't have to face you.
I'll do it in person. Come talk to me. But you have to sit through service. If you sit through service, then I'll have a conversation with you. I'm just playing.
Yeah. So let's be different. I know, like, you're like, man, it's hard, it's tough. And I've been there, dude. I have been there in those moments where I have been this way with this many friends. It's hard for me to change. Like, you have to pray and you have to ask God to help you in those moments, because it's not easy to just be like, well, I'm different now. It's tough, and you have to be able to, in your Bible, you have to be asking God to help you in those moments, because it's people are laughing at you, or disagreeing with you, or like, this guy sucks, or we're not going to do certain things because he's around. Like, it's okay, be that way.
Yeah, and I think Daniel's a great example of the big things. We got to be consistent in our faith when we're going through the big things, but we have to be consistent in our faith when we go through the little things too. A meal, an interpretation and a dream, being honest with someone, facing death by fire, facing death by lion, interpretation. Like, Daniel is consistent in the high risk, high reward situations. He's also consistent in the low risk, low consequence situations. He's just consistent. He has a faith that moves continually. Did he screw up? Yes. He was not a perfect person. Nobody was. So while we don't have, I can't find necessarily a distinct moment of fault for Daniel like we can for others. Clearly he had one. Clearly he had something. And maybe the moment with Nebuchadnezzar has some deeper situation tied to it. They obviously were connected, if nothing else. But he gives us a great example as men for how to live and for how to have a continuation of our faith through all aspects of our life.
Yeah, God doesn't ask you to be perfect. He just asks you to try. Try
to be perfect.
Try to be. Yeah, doesn't ask you to be.
Yeah. And if you find yourself saying you're a Christian, yet walking in darkness, read First John. He's got some words for you, and you're not going to like them. But with that, you got anything else?
No, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas coming. Hopefully we'll have another episode before Christmas. But this has been the Pointman Podcast. Make sure that you like, subscribe, leave us a comment, tell us what you're thankful for, or if you have a question that you want us to answer here on the pod, it's got to be in the comment. Don't send us a message. Don't tell me in person. Comment on the pod right now and let us know what it is you want us to talk about, or if you've got a specific question that's been nagging at you. Now's the time. We're opening the floor to you, and we'll answer as many as we can here on the pod.
All of them.
No, as many as we can. I'm not guaranteeing that. So if it's like one, then yeah, sure, all of them.
But, we answered every one of their questions.
We answered them all. We told you we would. But until next time, I'm Zach.
Luke.
See ya.